Morning guys, so welcome back to NZ Marko at Kustoms. So my name's Glenn. Anyway, at the moment we're working on a 65 Impala, doing rust repair on it at the moment. That's all I'm doing on it at the moment. It may come back later on to get more stuff done, like body work, whatever, or maybe some of the other panels repaired. But I've got about enough budget for about 3 weeks worth of work at the moment. Anyway, so we've got the left-hand rocker off it, sill off it, depending on which part of the world you're in. The outer skin that was rotten. It had actually been in the car about 1980ish, late 70s, early 80s. It had a bike run into the side of it on the left-hand side. I think somewhere around about pillar rear door, and unfortunately what had happened is that it actually pushed that rocker down and bent the flooring, and then it was, I wouldn't say, it was averagely repaired. They probably did the best what they thought at the time. You know, they probably weren't too worried about it, you know what I mean. It was just a car and it was just repaired, but that inner panel was actually pulled down, so instead of putting the outer skin back on and joint it where it would have been just inside the door, it actually went in about another 1.5 inches, and I just put it on top of the floor instead of just on that inner jam piece of it where it was not meant to be rejoined. So I've discovered with trying to fix it, I actually cut a piece of the back floor out just on the side because it was really bent and wrinkled up and poorly beaten out, because obviously you'd have to take the car off the chassis to work on it. So I cut it out, that piece, and straightened it out and then welded it back in. So it looked more like it did when it was factory. It's still not perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better than it was. But in that process, I've discovered that the inner skin has got a big bow in it. It should be flat across the bottom. I'm not sure what the profile's meant to be at the top. Without sort of looking at the other side, I can sort of see it. So it comes along, then it's got a bit of a dip down at the back door where the post is. But that was really sunken. It was probably down 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch, I would think, and that's why they just put the panel right out and onto the top of the floor piece instead of being joined at that, sort of where the door fits onto it and the little trim panel fits over the top. You would never see it with the carpet and everything in there, but it just, with the car stripped out, it just looked weird from one side to the other. You know, you can clearly see that side's never been played with. The other rocker on it's perfect, or still one's perfect really, but this side was all rotted and rusted away. It's actually down here. I'll show you. So this is the panel they made, and you can just see the repairs it's had. Hopefully you can see that. But yeah, it's just been patched up and boogered in the last 40 years since it was replaced. 40 odd years. So obviously when they put it on, they just left it bare steel, and sorry, the light keeps changing there. They just left it bare steel, and it just rotted out again. So the owner stripped the car down, I don't know, 8 years ago type sort of thing. He ran it around for about 10-ish years since he bought it, which was about 2003 or 4 or 5, whenever it was. Yeah, and then it got too rusty to sort of, it really needed stripped down and done properly. So that's what he's done. So yeah, we're just getting the rot fixed in it. So yeah, started putting a dog leg. I made the inner panel in the wheel arch itself into the tub in the dog leg part, and we've got dog legs from the US. So I've got that fitted on with that piece, I made that inner piece and screwed it onto the dog leg and got that fitted. So I'm actually now making the rest of the rear wheel arch. I'm just trying to anyway. So we'll just take you around here and we'll just give you a quick shot of what's going on here. So a little bit. I can get around here. So this is the inner panel I'm talking about. Jack's holding up. So it was originally that this rocker come in and joined here, but it was actually jointing here. It was just laid straight over top. So instead of coming down here like that and then coming across to meet this, and obviously all the other pieces the same here, was laid out, it was welded on way over here. So it was, you know, at least an inch, if not more, further across than what it needed to be. And this is the section here that I cut out and behind the post. It was really badly wrinkled up and crushed up. It's still really quite ugly. It's still not pretty, but I think if you actually painted it in there, once everything's cleaned up, and maybe just a real light, just if you just even put like a little scraper, glazing putty or filler or something across it and then just give it a quick smooth, you'd barely know. Where before it got really rough, it was really quite bent and twisted up. It wasn't put into any sort of shape or form of what it used to be. It was just sort of beaten in there, sort of half beaten out, if you know what I mean. And I've actually still got to plug this back on. I left it because we were trying to straighten this. So I actually heated this with the gas. I used 2 trolley jacks and a bit of 2-inch angle iron, slipped underneath it, used the jack one up here, over here, and I heated the crap out of this with the oxyacetylene, and I didn't get it real cherry red, but sort of almost like sort of yellowy hot before it starts going red. So it got really hot and it started giving and come up. I'm not 100% sure whether it's right where we need it, but when we get the rocker back, I was going to make it and fold it up myself, but the place I normally go to borrow their big long folder because I'm allowed to use it. It wasn't suitable to make the piece. Like simple forms, yeah, fine, but this is the shape of it, and just unfortunately the folder that they've got just won't get in and do these sort of tighter bends so easy, because it was a big industrial sheet metal folder. It'll bend up to, you know, like I think 5/16 plate or 1/4 inch plate. So yeah, like it'll bend sheet metal as well, but the bending piece that comes up is very thick on it, obviously to help bend those bigger heavy metals, and you just can't bend, you know, this sort of stuff, like sort of more simple boxes or something like that. If it didn't have all these extra pieces in it, it was just sort of like that, you know, maybe had a bit of a bend, you know, if it was more sort of squarish it would have been fine, but just some of these, because you can't get back in, it's just too thick. So I've had to get one of the sheet metal places in town to make it for me, bend it up. So hopefully we'll have that back early next week. I was hoping to have it back today, because today's Friday, so I can spend the rest of the weekend or tomorrow or whatever putting it on. But yeah, so we made the inner piece here, had to cut that all out. Well, we knew this was locking on here, but when we got into the inside, it had been actually patched and boogered up before as well. So it's had a lot of patches in here, old stuff. So we're going through and we're repairing it, renewing it. This here, I've cut most of the weight. I haven't cut in here away yet. I've kind of left it until we finalise exactly what we're doing. But I need to trim this off, so this here will sit in a little bit further, so this panel edge will sit in further. And then now I'm trying to make this piece kind of here, and get it to fit in. I really need to make this fit better in, so I can get this to to sort of fit in, but we're trying to match this here with that, and that will sunk in a little bit because it's sitting up on that panel. And we'll better make it so it looks right anyway, if you know what I mean. Once we sort of get that sort of in the shape. This is here is screwed onto here, and it's where it should be, but there's still the extra metal in here, and plus it's poking out here, so once you cut that, it can go back in, I don't know, whatever it is, 1/4 of an inch or more, it'll kick around a little bit so it'll fit better. And I haven't attached the inner here for that last little piece, so it'll flex in as well once we cut all that extra shit away in there and make it fit properly. So yeah, this is what I'm trying to make at the moment. So this just started off as a flat piece with a bead in it, and we just started shaping it. I did run it through the bead roller just to put a bit of shape in it, trying to mimic the original. How much it will mimic it when it's sort of finished. It's sort of hardened because this hasn't got a real hard shape in it like this does. But I guess once it's finished, you know, have a wee bit of body filler and whatever, and just try and bleed it in and make it look as close to the original as possible. Because we're going to have to do the other side anyway too, so. And I'm not sure what the front yards are like either, but there's only got anything here, but you know, it'll all blend together in the end, the best it can. So I'll just gotta keep playing with this till we get it smoothed out and flattened out and whatever, and then I can, once I've got them happy with this, then I'll cut this out of skin off. And I'll also, it's being attached in here, I'll need to have a bit more of a better look on the inside and see what's going on here too. Just to decide, because it's been, it looks like it might have been overlaid, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Or whether that's actually a factory drawing, I don't know. It's a little weird. It looks reasonable, but it's funny here. It should have shape in it like this. It should have shape down into there, and it doesn't. It's being played with, so it kind of makes it tough. But yeah, it was all covered with filler anyway, so we'll get it better than it was, for sure. So I'll carry on shaping this. I just want to get a little bit more shape into this, and then obviously get it so it sits even and it's not, it's a bit wonky at the moment from shrinking and stretching, but we'll just have to keep playing with it until we get it smoothed out. I might even have to put a little bit of heat in it to just shrink some of this metal back a little bit, or just sort of buckle it up a little bit. So the way this was sitting with this piece with the extra stuff on it, and the, you know, just annoying me. I guess it's just the way it's sitting, it just makes life awkward. I couldn't get a clear vision of what was going on with this here, you know, within this vicinity, because it's sitting out. And I might actually just trim a little bit more of this and might cut this back a little bit through here. I haven't routed this properly for this reason. I might actually just put the cutting disc through there, and then I can manipulate it back a little bit too when this pulls in. There's still a little bit to cut out of here. Well, probably off this more than anything. Just trying to decide whether I join it along that edge or whatever. fucking too bad at all, does it? Don't put that up there. If we can get those bits to line up. Yes! Yes, yes, yes. 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 We're definitely getting somewhere. Alrighty. So, right, I might take that panel off. I've got a little bit of finishing on it to make it, I guess, fit a little bit nicer than that. I'm fairly happy with it. It needs a little bit more shaping, but it's also maybe needs a little bit, I think the angle needs to change underneath here a little bit so it just sits a little bit different. I think if I pull this off, I've marked a 3 marker around here. I think if I start to cut down low and see if we can get the some of the outside skin off so we can at least have a look in there, and then we can decide what we're going to do with some of the shit that's there, if you know what I mean. I'll just let this one go a little bit and just see what it's doing. Needs to sort of sit there like that instead. A little bit. It needs a wee bit of tweaking. It's really close. It doesn't need bugger all. A little bit of finessing, a little bit more line shaping, and then it's pretty much ready. But I don't want to cut it on, well, I won't cut it on the below this curve. I won't cut it into here first. I'll cut below. And we'll just get rid of this bottom portion of this piece. At least we can have a bit of a look in there and just see what we need to do. And hopefully we don't have to cut above this line if we can get into clean up. We can obviously repair some of it from the back side. But at least we can have a look in this way and just see what's going on there, see if there's anything that's really bad. Or whether it's just a couple of little spots. We maybe just put a couple of little patches in there. Clean her up and new skin on, and obviously make it fit around here and decide whether this doesn't feel right to me. It's like this piece here is too light. So it comes down, it's got a bit of a hump to it. And just the way they put this in, I flanged it instead of, I've actually got this edge here. Comes down and it turns in, and it's the same on this bottom panel. It comes up and turns in, that's buckled like that. It's like I've spot welded it together, which is not ideal, but it's better than being overlaid. I'll give it that. Anyway, we'll get this off. Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll just cut sort of in the middle of this first and just see what we're dealing with. And probably just sneak along the bottom here until we pick some of this other shit off and see where we're at. it's higher too, just so I can get in there. It's pretty dozy. Pretty dozy. I might just have to go out from the inside of it. Just sort of get it tacked in place maybe. If we make similar dimensions to this, we'll just bring it approximately like that. It's 30-30. So it's 30-30 plus 10. Make 30. No, I want like 30-40, then we'll cut it back. Alright. Oh. The old bastard legs on sleep. Righty, so cut a strip for an inside edge and bend it. So that's touch over 30 mils, and that's about 40. I basically use the same dimensions as that, but I'm just not quite sure. The 30 is basically the underlip. It's about that deep. Seems to be sort of about the thickness between 30 and about an inch and slightly over basically, inch and a quarter, inch and an eighth. So I've just allowed a little bit extra. We can trim it off, grind it off, whatever later on if we have to need to. But I've allowed a little bit extra up to try and get into some decent middle somewhere when we make that go around there. So basically what we'll do is we'll just keep shaping this so it fits inside here, and I'll try and get a bit more bend in this. I need to get a bit more of a bend in here so it's a bit more laid back a little bit more. But basically we'll keep shaping this until it fits in this piece, and then we know we'll be getting close to sneak into this piece, and then we'll just have to get whatever picture this angle right. And obviously some bits are like some of this here from about here down looks like it's quite solid, but a lot of this here up here looks very thin, and we'll better get rid of this other little patch in here, and we'll better get all these other bits to line up. It's kind of the plan. I'm making this piece here exactly how I make this, so I'll be a little bit deeper into this corner. This here, I don't know whether it was had a bit of a gap in there or not originally, but I'm making a little bit, leading up a little bit deeper into this edge than probably factory. Well, I think factory might have been about here somewhere, whereas I'm just going to probably be a little bit further in. But just kind of how it is, what works for me. So yeah, we'll start. We'll probably end up trimming this up just above this line in the end, because it's not going to be that nice to get in here and weld, but at least if I can get up just slightly above this line, I might be able to get in and tack this to here, and obviously cut the shit off, and then it seems to be actually easier to weld this other one from the inside. If I get myself in the right position, it might be quite so easy. But I know this side, it was, once I sort of got myself tucked in there around that drum and got comfortable, it wasn't that bad. I might have to trim the bottom of this up a little bit, but I don't really want to do that. So I just get the frickin' sill on me. So we'll start shaping this up, and yeah, we'll go from there. Typical. Here I am thinking I'm talking to the camera, making the inside piece for the wheel hutch. Fucking dribbling and frickin' googling it up and getting all excited and didn't even have a fucking camera on. Anyway, I've made that. It's really, I think, pretty close, apart from initial shaping to get this edge to meet up with the inner fender wheel tub. But apart from that, I think it's pretty good. Like, it needs a wee bit of a squeeze up here and there just to make the edges meet. I could possibly do just with the odd little minor tweak, but we're looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. So we've got an outer. It probably just needs a little bit of finessing. Just bugger all, but it doesn't actually look that bad. That outer, considering if I had to go through, like, really, probably just dolly the old little high down, so we can just maybe flatten the old one out just so it's not quite so high. And then we scooch a body filler and a block. And got to be better than what's there. Considering that's my first full wheel arch in one piece, really. Well, we'll call that 3/4 wheel arch. I didn't make the front half, but yeah, probably could have made it all in one piece if I had to. But including the dog leg, but it was definitely easier with the dog leg being there. But yeah, we're pretty close. We're pretty close. I could probably just do the odd little shrink. Maybe if you really wanted this here to be hard against that edge, like, it's pretty close. Most of it's within a bee's doodle, being in the right place. So I'll have a quickly look. We'll test this on. We'll see if we can poke it in the hole and see what it looks like. And we'll go from there. I'll bring you a bit closer, since I didn't have the freaking camera on before. Oh, I could have sworn I pushed the button. Oh. Maybe I did, but didn't push it hard enough or something. Right. We'll scoot you down there. See, kinda. Right. Just scoot you in a little. Hold it. So you get a good eyeball on the old situation. Chair off the handle. So yeah, apart from getting some crap out of the road, I think we're pretty darn close. And can't put it right in because we've got a bit of shit really still in the vicinity, but I think if we had all that crap out of the road, we'd get that in there. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Clear the way so I can actually get that in there. Because this is still, well, I wouldn't say it's solid, but it's still at the edge to put that up against. So I know roughly where it needs to be. I was trying to keep this here so I didn't have to, so I had a reference for the outer panel. What can I do here? Very fat fix. That fits this shit. We just got the bottom of the garden right. We'll come back in a minute. Maybe we'll think for a minute and off camera and decide what I'm going to do. But I think what I'm going to do is trim this back. I'll double check this. Trim this back to, I don't know, a bit more than 1/4 of an inch, somewhere between 1/4 of an inch and 3/8 of an inch back below that line. Trim all this away. I think this is what I'm going to do. And then that'll give me a better look at this inside shit. And then we can hopefully have a bit of a clean up if we can get in there. And decide how much metal we're going to pull away on the inside. And that'll give me half a chance to see where the inner piece will lap onto. I might just leave a little bit of extra material down here so I can maybe put a tick screw in from the outside. It's not hard to wet up one hole. Just so I've got something to screw to, clamp to. And yeah, and at least we can assess the inside a bit further up. Not a lot further up, but at least we're going to get a half decent look at it. It'll open it up a little bit and decide what we're going to clean up to. Glue that inside piece on. Right, so you can't really see what I've freaking done, but basically I've got this now fitted. I think I cut it a little bit short. Unfortunately, I forgot that on when I made this here. The other extension, it comes to here. And I made this here to fit this, which goes up to there, but this here come past, and I had it sitting in there, and I thought, oh, I marked it, and I trimmed it, and then when I went to put it up there, I was like, why can't I get this on? And then I realised that, yeah, I'd made it the right length, so I trimmed that off and shifted it around to get this to fit properly. I might just have to add a little bit of this back on. But I've actually since then shaped like this here, like I've got this, it needs position a little bit better, but I've got the top of it curled in to sit on the top of the wheel arch. I've got quite a bit of overlap, so I'm just not quite sure where I'm going to cut that off. I'm still working that out. It's about 4:30. Which my back's freaking giving me crap. I'm starting to see that. But yeah, I'm hoping tomorrow to get that on, weld it in, and you have to add a little bit back on the bottom. That's fine. It's not a biggie. Pain in the ass, but shit happens. Because I'm gonna have to cut. I've just realised that there's holes in the bottom of this anyway, so I'm gonna have to cut some of this off the bottom anyway when we do this. It's a pain in the ass the way they've joined it, but it's not actually that bad. This looks like it is factory line. It's been a bit hammered here and I've knocked a few dents out and whatever. So we're going to have to cut a bit of a patch out of here anyway to put this into the corner properly, so I've got to get into here and fix that, and we'll just make a simple patch for that. And again, back here just needs a simple patch. Hopefully it's fairly solid, the rest of it. I don't really want to pull it off, but I don't have to. The other side I'm gonna, because it's just fucking ugly. This isn't so bad. It's not how I would have done it, but it's not that bad, you know, with a boogie with a hammer and dolly and whatever, and as long as it's not thin anywhere, which I'm hoping it's not, apart from, I'll cut a reasonable patch, I'll come back, you know, 4 or 5 inches and we might come up close to here, just to make sure that it's not too rotten in there. And what I'll do is when I put this on, because I'm not sure how this would have been originally, I don't know whether it would have been flat in here, but when we put this on, we'll make it shape around that little divot there, and we'll keep that profile. I think it probably would have actually flattened out and just had a very slight kick in it, but we'll make it sort of follow that profile, since I've made it like that, and I don't think it's going to hurt anything. So yeah, we're just going to put a little bit of a kink in here or something, just flatten it out a little bit. It's going to be squeezed up there. So it fits pretty freaking good, this piece. And the other piece on as well. So yeah, it's just, might have to alter this just a little bit yet, just so I can get this in it up a little bit tighter. I might even try and lift this just a little bit because it's not way out of there, we've cut it, so we might just see if we can pull it a little bit. But yeah, it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Just this minor tweak. I've got one Tech screw in here and I've got a pair of vice grips. So that's vice grips that might be holding me back. Yeah, they hold me down a little bit. No, maybe not. But yeah, we've got a little bit of overlap there that we'll have to just trim off when we get really close, and I might be able to just cut along it and weld it on, and when I get around to here I'll be able to pull that out when I make this patch anyway. We can even reach in from in there and just whip that little piece out, so we can just butt weld it, just zip along there and butt weld it on. We're looking pretty good. I'm happy with these. I'm just gonna get a nice little piece of gold in. I just wish, fucking annoys me, I wish I had that fucking seal. I'd just be a wee bit more confident at putting this all on. And I'm happy enough to put the inside on, but it's the outside I just don't want to do until I know that the seal is going to fit the dog leg, and then I know the dog leg fits that, but until we get everything there to really make sure, and obviously fit the doors on, yeah, pain. There's a real pain, because I could get this all tack welded on, you know, in a couple of hours, if you know what I mean. And then we can really stand back, look at it, make sure that everything's right and we're happy with everything, make sure it all looks fine. And yeah, then frickin' burn it all in. But yeah, it's, because I really would like, yeah, the rocker seal on, throw the doors on, put a couple of Tech screws in the dog leg, and make sure all it fits good. You know, we probably don't have to panic about that, but we can maybe just vice grip that on there too. Make sure it's all we're all happy, and we can just go, yep, no, whatever, adjust this, move that, whatever, to make sure that we are happy with everything. So yeah, it's kind of where we're at, but we're making progress. The only other bits I really need to do on this side is that piece up in the back pillar, which I don't think will be terribly difficult. That's the simple stuff. I can knock that out pretty quick. And that one there, I don't think that's going to be hopefully too terrible, as long as there's no major issues on the inside, but we're not worrying about roof lining or anything. We're just going to make a half decent patch, and we'll come up down here, blend it in. Might have to put a little bit of shape in it, and Put like a minor, we might have to just put a wee slight step bead roll on it and then trim it off, or something like that. And weld that in there. Oh, and a bit in here. We can do that at the same time. Fix that. That shouldn't be too difficult. Yeah, and those couple little patches on there. And that is basically the side on. Well, you got a couple of wee pieces that are up there, but that's the worst of this side. Almost sorted, you know. We just got about a. Just wish I had that frickin' rocker sill so we could put it all on to make sure everything fits. Just with altering shifting the floor up, you know, like we have back to factory, hopefully. Just make sure we can make it all fit nice. Anyway, we'll call it a day, and we're making progress. That's the main thing. We're getting pieces made. Like we've got that outer finished, and then we made the inner. That basically fits. You know, we'll just be nice to have those other pieces just to double check everything and fucking put her in there permanently. At least it's not going to be a whole series of patches around there. Like it's two pieces basically. You know, so that's a whole lot better than frickin' 10 patches that are just overlapped and overlapped and overlapped. Anyway, we'll catch you later on. Right, welcome back, guys. Well, I haven't been here for a few days. I finished up on Friday, about 4:30 because I ended up with a sore back. Just from, I don't know why, lower back. I was mucking around with that. And I was sitting down there just test fitting it. I put a couple of Tex screws and bits and pieces in there. I went standing back up from the chair and I knew my back didn't feel right. So I went home. It was about 4:30. So I won't push myself anymore. I'll just go home. I'll just relax. You know, get missus to give me a fucking good rub on the back and put on my back. You know, put some like deep heat sort of type stuff in there, just make the muscles relax a bit. But by the end of that night, I was pretty stiff and sore. Woke up Saturday morning, could barely frickin' move. I could shuffle around the house, all hunched over and all twisted up. I'm still twisted up, but I'm not too bad. I'm coming right, but it's now Wednesday fucking morning. We actually had I wouldn't say a long weekend, but yesterday was Anzac Day here, which is the Australian New Zealand Army Corps remembrance from World War I and II and whatever. So basically, yeah, that was sort of a public holiday yesterday, but I was thinking Monday, I was like, oh shit, I'll see if I can get into the chiropractor here, the local one. But the part of a bigger clinic in the city, but they're not open frickin' Mondays, and they're open Tuesdays, which was yesterday, and because it was a public holiday they weren't open. So I was thinking, oh yes, well maybe they might be open this morning, but no, it's still frickin' not open. They're only open Tuesdays and Thursdays. I thought they were here for a couple more days. They used to be open full days some days and part days others, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I actually managed to on Sunday get in, and I actually went into the cargo and went into the Thai deep tissue massages, and that helped. Like, it actually straightened me up quite good. But it just something just needs pushed back into place. I've had issues for years and years and years. Just every now and again, you'll be just doing that one thing, or in a, I don't know, just in a weird position, or you'll turn funny or something. Yeah, a couple again. For a few days until you get it sorted out. But sometimes it'll come right by itself, and then other times it just won't let go, if you know what I mean. I was actually on the weekend on Saturday. I had pain shooting down my legs, so I was obviously getting my sciatic nerve and whatever. Man, I was in a bad way. I was barely shuffle around through the house. And I'd if I could get moving a little bit, I'd sort of free a little. I'd sort of half I come right, but as soon as I Well, I sat down and lay down or whatever for even for half an hour. Just sat down, watched something on YouTube or watch part of a movie or whatever, and I had to get up and move again. Holy shit, man! Do you think I could get back out of a chair or something like that? It wasn't good. Anyway, yeah. So I thought, oh yeah, Monday, I might be in for something. Nah. I knew yesterday was a freaking public holiday. I was, well, I'm not going to get anywhere for that. So yeah, I thought maybe this morning I might have got in somewhere, but I'll try to ring around a few places and try to get into the local one there, but they're not open this morning. So hopefully I can get in to them tomorrow, at least at some point, to just see if I can get that final straightened up. And then I may go back to entire massage, maybe at the weekend or something like that, and then I'll come right, I know I will, and I'll be fine for 6 months or 12 months until the next time it decides it wants to play for me. But anyway, so I don't know if I'm going to be beating down and just doing this at the moment. So what I might do is we mark out for here. So we get a panel made and welded into here, because I still haven't heard anything about this sill. Like, I know they were open Monday, and then obviously they were closed yesterday. So maybe they might get it made today, I don't know, but I don't feel like bending down, twisting myself around trying to weld this in as much as I want to, as much as I wanted to do it at the weekend. I just don't feel like it's a good move. So I think we might just cut this patch out of the back pillar here, the top part of it anyway. Have a look and dig in here and go from there, I think. Just give my back a bit of I wouldn't say a rest, but if I'm standing up for just short periods and just moving around a little bit and not sort of twisting around and getting myself in weird positions trying to get in there and weld, I think I'll be right. And just till one can get it sorted, because it's really grabbing up here and there's just a little bit down low. I think this sort of let go of it. It's still not perfect, but I'm not in any major pain in the legs or anything like that, which is good. But you look after your back. I know my fucking weight doesn't help it, but actually pissed me off. I actually bought me and Mrs. bought a couple of second-hand, like really good second-hand mountain bikes. That might be sort of 10 years old, that haven't had a lot of use, and they were good, really nice, good quality bikes. Mine's got the proper hydraulic disc brakes and all that sort of bullshit, and hers is a fully suspended bike, and I thought, because young fella's we've had a couple of other older bikes and the young fella rides, and I was using one of the other ones, so I gave that to the partner's stepson. He's like 24. I just thought, we might better go out and bike ride, but pain in the ass, mine, it had a couple of broken spokes in it when I bought the bike, so I got some new ones and just threw them in it one day. But it's broken about another 3 or 4 spokes, so I don't know whether it's been over tightened at some stage and they're all got too much tension, so I might have to pull the back wheel off it. Because I actually wanted to ride it a bit more during the summer and try and get myself a bit fitter, but that sort of put me off, and I just keep forgetting to freaking take the wheel into somewhere to get it sorted, or ring up and find out what it's going to cost to get it relaced. I think that's probably the best thing to do, is just get it relaced with all brand new spokes and get it reset, because it's just a pain in the ass. I'm guaranteed if I put another couple of spokes in the fucking thing, it'll break another 3 or 4, because they've probably been over tensioned or something stupid. So pain in the ass, but yeah, I was actually we were hoping to do that a bit, and Mrs. House hasn't been very good either, so it hasn't helped, but yeah. Anyway, we'll dig into here. I didn't test myself, I fucking just standing up for too long. I don't know if I'm gonna, how long it'll last today, but we'll try it and get something done. Absolute pain in the ass, because I've been wanting to edit to you, but I can only sit at the computer for about half an hour before it gets sort of awkward and too uncomfortable, and then I've got to get up and move. Actually, probably lying down in bed, not that I like doing it, or just sitting back on the couch with the footrest up with just a couple of small cushions underneath my back is kind of the best. Like I can sit there for quite a while without getting too stiff or sore. And it has got better over the last couple of days, but yeah, I don't know. Shall we get on? So, I didn't quite expect that to come off like that, but it did. She was barely attached. It was only held on by the outside skin. So it's obviously all one piece, I'm guessing, or it might have been, yeah, the outside skin. Actually, I probably can make it. I probably can make this piece here, weld that back on. It's probably what I'm going to have to do. And then remake a new piece with a couple of little bends in it. Hopefully I can make that. Not sure. Probably could just bend a little piece over and hammer it over flat, and then bend the other pieces. It shouldn't be too difficult. It's not a long piece. It's pretty straight. You'll have to double check how straight. We'll add that back on. Get it to match that, obviously. But I'm going to have to dig deeper into here. That one's cold, damn it. So yeah, and clean it up. And hopefully, and then just, yeah, tack this piece in, or tack the piece in. Probably still going to have to make it in a couple of pieces. I'm going to have to dig into here further. I was hoping to sort of clean this piece up and then dig into this bit. But I might have to dig it all out. Yeah, looks like I might have to just dig it all out in one hit. Alright. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and make that little piece that goes in behind, that edge. I'm going to make this piece first. Here we play. I'm being a little bit over, the least I can in this thing, hopefully. Doesn't need to be terribly long. I've got a bit of scrap here. Plenty here. So we'll do a bit of a mark on here. We'll bend an edge over. See if we can make this piece and get it at least on there and see if it's going to work. Because obviously this is welded in from here. So we're about to drill a few wee holes in here. Plug weld this base back onto here. And obviously we'll let us smear a bit of seam sealer back down in there. When it's finished, and just see if we can at least repair it like it's meant to be. You can see it's actually had a couple of repairs. I didn't actually hit it. Yeah, well, yeah, I can see it actually had a repair. But yeah. So yeah, she got a bit rotten in there at some point. And obviously before we do seal it up completely, we'll get in the best we can in places and get it some rust treatment up in the areas where we not into, if you know what I mean. So hopefully we can stop any rust. But anyway, I might just chop this down a little bit in length because I don't need it all. Back from handling this frickin', just sort of standing and shuffling around like this. At the moment, sucks. Pain in the ass. Hate losing days like this. we'll poke a few holes through here with the stick drill. Happens to be easier for me at the moment. Whew, freaking spiders. Bang on half a dozen holes through here so I can get a good plug weld through there, and then we'll see if we can get some welds through on this back face so we can weld the outer skin into here, burn it into here, and then we can dress it up afterwards, if you know what I mean. It'll be kind of like it was factory. Some holes through there, some holes through there. I'll always sit and think for a minute and just work out how I'm going to attack this, what I'm going to do with it, how much of this I'm going to cut away. Just trying to decide. Right, I'm sort of going to tack this on, wow, and just make sure. I think I can fix the rest of it. Okay, without it on. I'm thinking. Oh, it's not like an app getting anything back on this thing, it pisses me off, apart from one inner piece. I better get this out of the ride on. Actually, where I want to be working. Where the sort of right out and the water's run down in here. Right back. Right, so I decided to come back down here. Once I set it at home, I sort of come right again for a bit. I probably won't be able to stay down here very long, but it might be to get another couple of hours, and I'm hoping to try and get this finished, if I can. So, yeah, we sandblasted this and around here just before lunch. I want to cut this crap off, I think. I'm trying to remember. And there's a few holes in here. I'm actually going to cut this back probably about another ½ an inch right through there and down here so I can get in here a bit better. I've actually got in there with the welder, and there was some holes in, just some small holes in here. It's probably a bit thin in places, but it welded up fine. So I just built it up from in behind, and then I cleaned it up and dressed it up from this side. So I'm just going to cut this back, as I said, about another ½ an inch. It's not going to make fuck all difference when I make a patch. Well, it's a little bit extra welding here and it's a little bit extra welding here. It's not going to make much difference to the rest of it. Yeah, I've still got to build the rest of it. Yeah, and build a patch to come up and around here. We'll build this in 2 sections, obviously. We'll put this piece on, and then we'll put the skin in here down to wherever. So this will come down here. So we'll build that skin basically sort of down around a bit here, and then we have a little piece to fold underneath here, and around here, and then we'll probably make this piece separate and we'll weld it along the edge so we can manipulate and dress it up, and when we get the back door fitting we can just double check that gap, make sure it's still good. We can build up a little bit of weld if we have to make sure it's right. But yeah, if I open this up I can just get in here and just clean up a little bit better and behind, and just make sure there's not too much ugly shit in there. It's me light. I've kind of did the best I could with the situation. So it's a bit ugly in there, so I want to get in there and just clean it up a little bit, knock some of that frickin' ugly build up in there. It's kind of awkward. I probably should have cut it back further before I welded it, but it's done now. But I can clean it up a bit better. I actually built this edge up because it was sort of rotted away as well, so I built it up with a bit of weld, and then we'll just ground it back. I don't know if I'll build it up here or not. I could do. I wonder if that's actually meant to be joined across there. I don't know. It wasn't when I cut it open, so I don't really know, if you know what I mean. But maybe when I cut it through, doesn't appear to be. Yeah, because I cut it through there anyway. So yeah, that can't have been. It must have been just the way it was jointed. So I don't need to worry about building this up here. I could just put a little bit extra meat around here, just build a little bit extra weld on the edge and clean it up and grind it up. But we'll give it another spray with that anyway, after we've given this a bit extra clean up and a bit of weld through. At least that'll protect it. And yeah, that'll just give me half a chance to give another wee bit of a dress up in there, just so the moisture won't sit in some of the built up bird shit that I've just put in there, just to fill those holes. So yeah, I'm just trying to do the best I can at the moment with the way my back is, but I just want to try and get some progress done. Oh, I'll sit down for a couple of minutes. So yeah, I'll do that, and then we'll come back to you. And hopefully I can just, yeah, if I can get this piece patched up, I'll be happy with the progress with what's going on, the consideration. And I've managed to get an appointment for 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, so I can see if I can get my frickin' back right. And then we hopefully we'll be away again, and we'll see if we can get this thing finished. And I've actually waiting on a phone call back for the rocker too. I haven't heard back from them, so I might have to give them another ring before 5 o'clock and just find out whether they found out anything, what's going on. I just rang them to see whether they knew how long it was going to be, just so I can kind of plan, hopefully a little bit. Or maybe when I'm in town tomorrow, and the back sorted out. I can't get into the one out here. So yeah, maybe when I'm in town tomorrow, if they've got it made, I might be able to pick it up. But yeah, we'll carry on, we'll get a bit more done. We'll just nick this out a little bit further. It's not going to make any bloody difference end of the day. And yeah, I'll try and get this patched up the next hour or so, and bugger off again, just give my back another rest for a while. At least we get some sort of progress made. Yeah, I'm happy with what we're doing. Just would have been nice to frickin' have the weekend here and the last couple of days, just to frickin', I would have had this done, or some of this other stuff done. It'd be nice to have this welded in anyway. It's just sitting here at the moment, but we'll carry on. Alright, so we opened that up, that extra, I don't know, a bit more than half an inch, but it doesn't matter. So it means I can get in here and have a good frickin' clean up and soak round with that rust convert. So we've given that a good dicing around there and get a bit more. We gave that a wee bit of a clean up in that corner, just ground it back a bit. Can't do too much more with it, if you know what I mean. I'll spray a bit of weld through, or a bit of something else in there, and then we'll clean up where we've got a weld, obviously afterwards. But at least we can get in there where you give it a bit of a clean up and soak a bit of shit in there. So that's cool. Gave me a bit more of an opportunity to have a look and make sure the rest of it was pretty solid, and it is, so that's good. It's just a wee bit rotten in that corner, so filled that up and built it up. We spray a bit of shit in there. That'll slow it down. Like, I imagine. I know the owner. Look, it's never going to be sitting out in the weather, for any great length of time unless he's happens to be driving in the rain or something like that for some reason. But yeah, so it should be good. Now we've given that a good treat, and then we'll let that go off. So I'll start building while I'm waiting on that to go off. We'll start building some of the other patches to go on it. I'll try to anyway. So yeah, we'll carry on for a bit longer. Having fun making a video of the Dodge full build. Basically, just mostly working footage with the odd clip of me talking, just about roughly about what's going on at the time every now and again. So I actually rented this piece out the other day, which is, I don't know, 50 minutes long, because it was like just that much footage. This is up to video 19 in this now. So like, yeah, every like section of this is like probably 2 videos from the original series. So I think this was up to about video 10 or 11 in here, all just pushed into one basically, like all the footage. And this is the next lot, so I'm bringing that back on top of it, because it gets too much for the computer. It gets to the point where when I'm trying to load in a new lot of footage, it's kind of too much information for the computer, even though I've now updated my RAM and got 32 gigs of RAM in here now. I used to have 16, now I've got 32, just so I can, it's a bit more if I get a lot of footage in. Like, there's probably, I would hate to guess, like 100 hours or more of footage in this video just to hear. It's crazy. It's a crazy amount of footage in there. So that's why I've started doing it one section, then rendered it. Now I'm doing it another section, I'll render that again, so it's not, so you don't have all these full files in here. You just sort of start working with just a video and then just add to the end of it again. So yeah, I may even just actually start fresh and then render this section and the next section together. I was hoping to keep it till about 2 hours, but it's going to probably be a bit longer than that. I've got another, I don't know, about 10 videos to go through. I think this is, yeah, this was number 19 video in the all the files I've got. Just give you an idea. So if I open this up, go into here and then type in Dodge. So yeah, not these videos, because this is the ones that are on YouTube, but all these, like with all the files in them. So like all the full footage for me, like that's when I started. So all these files here up to this one are all in that video now. So basically 90% of the talking videos clips haven't included. Just the odd one after I've done a few sections of videos together with music, after about 3 or 4 lots of music or whatever. So it's probably, I don't know, say 7 or 8 minutes of music with footage going through, and then there'll be a bit of a break for a wee bit, just roughly sort of telling what the next sort of section kind of is, if you know what I mean, or kind of what I've up to. Like what I've done is like, I've tried to keep it to like the disassembly, and then cleaning up stuff, and then repairing the body, and then I'm up to now kind of starting to get into repairing. I've got like the chassis painted and all that sort of stuff, and now we're going into repairing the other body panels in the next slot. So it'll be 20 whatever through to repairing it, and then the final assembly. So yeah, I'll try and get that in the next lot of footage. I was hoping to keep it a wee bit shorter than that, but yeah, I don't know. I'll try and keep it in one video, but I might split it maybe, just as a double feature sort of thing, like of the whole build, but it'll be in, I don't know, like a 3 hours of video or something like that. Just kind of, I'll see how I get on. But that's what I'm doing at the moment. Right, morning everybody. So, I had my back adjusted yesterday. Managed to pick this up at the same time. Back's still not really good, but it's better. It's kind of holding, but it's still very niggly, so I'm just taking it easy. Hopefully I can spend all day here. If I can get all day in today, I'll basically spend all weekend on it as long as I can. To try and make up for the week I've lost in last weekend, which is a pain, bit of a curse. But we've got this here now, so we'll get this fitted. So I've trimmed, obviously a bit off here, a bit out of here. I've left this a little bit long. We end up having to cut this off at the front. Drop it down a little bit, if you can. Probably just point the camera up a little bit better. Yeah, so I'll have to trim this off eventually anyway, but I've just cut it back a little bit, give me a little bit to play with, because we'll have to, I think I have to put, I think I kept the section, like a little cap to go on the front of it. I can't remember. We'll cross that bridge. But this is where the inside post comes up to here. So I'll mark this out. I'll go take some quick measurements depth and wise, and we'll cut some more of this away, because this will tuck up underneath that pillar. May end up trimming a lot of this away as well. I'm just working with it at the moment. And obviously here is where the centre post is, so I might end up trimming. I'm not sure about this one, because this will be cut back a certain degree, obviously, because we've got to come in here. I think it's 60. Just go find that other piece that I was, the little tester I made. So at some point, as long as everything fits okay, that field obviously will be coming back in here at 60 mils, or what was that, a bit over 2 1/4, maybe 2 3/8 sort of type of thing. Not sure. Close to that, 2 3/8. Now I come in here, and then obviously we've got this little step in here. If we can make that work and we don't have any other issues trying to make the floor, now that we've altered a few things. So I want to trim some of this away just so it's back in about that distance. Then we'll leave this long again. We'll keep it back. We'll just have to juggle it and trim it. I want to trim it, just slowly trim it until we get it fit. But marker here. So where that sits up underneath, that front of that post, we'll trim this back so this piece isn't interfering. In theory. Somewhere out here, I'll trim this, and then come through here. We'll probably cut it fairly close to depth here, but we'll just keep it back a little bit just in case we've got to jiggle that measurement. And we'll have to do the same back here as well. Got to cut a wee bit more off here to get in behind the wheel arch. I've just got a little bit long yet. Right. Zoom in a little bit. Right, so we're getting close. I've trimmed the bottom of this off a little bit because it was too low. Obviously I've trimmed a bit of this away so it will fit around there. Like I probably need to trim more off. I do need to trim more off. Probably need to come back. Probably don't need any more here. Probably just needs to come back a bit more of an angle. So I need to trim a little bit more away there. And I had left a chunk of this on here to here. I'd left that piece on here, but I really needed to trim it away. So I've trimmed some of it away, but I need to trim more away. And I need to come down that edge a little bit because the under piece of the original was still in there. And I'm going to butt weld that against that down low so I can try and make the join look factory as possible, and obviously we'll grind up, clean it up, and then a little bit of mud, and it should be good. It's slowly coming up, so yeah, I'm just going to do a little bit more trimming. I may have to trim this piece here away too, because this is going to come up and sit down there. I'll just have to double check to see whether I need to pull some of that in or out. I'm actually hoping to leave this on and maybe take the original in or out. I just haven't quite got there yet. I think this will be, because it's been plugged around in here. I possibly could have done that with this too, but obviously I need to cut this back here as well. I need to, I thought I kept the original end out of it. I'm not quite sure where I put that. Being away for a couple of days and just can't quite remember what I did with it. Or worst comes to worst, I'll just make it, fold up a new one and put it in there, which will probably what I'll end up doing. But I was hoping to use the original as a reference. I thought I kept it aside somewhere, but I just can't remember. Doesn't matter at the moment. And we'll get a little bit more of this trimmed away so we get it slid in there, and hopefully we can get it all just set up and sit where it's meant to, and then we can just finalise the last little pieces, and then we can start testing, and hopefully I can get maybe some tech screws or something in. Still need to get rid of that original inner here too, so I'll get that off as well. But I just want to get this slipped in there, get it trimmed up so it fits really close, and then we can tech screw it on, especially on that bottom edge. Make sure we get it at good and level, and obviously see how everything else fits. Like this here to that and what's this stuff. Make sure we're not fighting anything. It's looking good. Yeah. And then we might have to trim this piece of bar off here. I can just take it back about an inch or so, hopefully. We'll put the front door on, see if we can get the back door on, see how the back goes. We'll throw that, put the hinges on the door anyway, and see if we can get it on. And then we can start testing and fitting. And actually, it will actually happen with this here too, because I can just make sure I get that back. Like it looks like it's pretty easy, like I'm just resting in the edge, but we can just make sure that all that's going to line up, and we can probably tack weld that on as well. So yeah, we'll just test fit all these pieces all together, make sure the gaps around the doors, and like I'm not going to be able to get it being perfect, but I can just get it roughly gapped up. I can see where things need to be, and we can just get it on there. And obviously when they fit the doors up finally, they can just things adjusted nicely, but we'll just make sure that nothing's strangely out of place. Alrighty, we are getting close. I'll just about get it underneath there. I'm probably only going to get it underneath there once, double check everything, and we'll pull it off and paint it all on the inside and whatever. I'm thinking I might have to trim. We've still got the old under on here, so I might have to trim a little bit of this off. I might have to trim this off here. I'll get from the Marko. I've cut it back at the front too, but I just need to come back a bit more. And I think we'll get it on. Yeah, guys. Man, my back is just giving me absolute shit. I can still stand up and move around, and I'm reasonable, but I can't do much for any more than sort of about half an hour standing and trying to bend around and lean over things. My back just starts giving me hell, and then it starts shooting pains down my legs. It's a real pain in the ass. I've actually borrowed a what they call an inversion table. Mum and Dad have got two. They have one in their camper when they go away, because they obviously deal with, you know, minor back issues as well every now and again. So they have it so they can hang upside down. You know, it doesn't matter where they are when they're away. So I've got their camper one at home. So I've started using that to try and just every now and again during the day, just to try and stretch myself out. So hopefully between the chiropractor and that, I can get back to frickin' work and do a decent fucking day's work, and not end up halfway through the day and crippled. And yeah, yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday I went home at lunchtime. I was with all intentions coming back here, but as soon as I sat down, I was sat down on the couch for a while and watched a little YouTube just to have a bit of a break. I was thinking, you know, I sort of thought, oh, I'll go home for about an hour, see how I feel, and I might stay a little bit longer. And what happened was it started freaking going into spasm and fucking twinging real bad. Didn't matter how I sat down or stood up, it just went weird on me. Just, it would do that and then it would stop, and then I think, oh yeah, sweet, I'm right, and I'd get up to move and it would fucking start again. So, pain in the ass. But what I want to do is, I'm not going to be here for long, but I've got to try and get these here somehow so I can get that out. Pain in the butt, the tractor's still on the road, but I'll message the owner when I leave, or if I catch up before I go, I won't be here too long. I need to be able to try and get these out of the road so we can get this out, the Dodge out in the morning, or no, tomorrow afternoon. So I just need to get all this stuff sorted so we can try and get this out. And I just want to get this freaking thing in if I can. Well, not so much in, but just take screw on. And then I'll put the wheel back on and have a bit of a clean up so I can try and get that sorted to get out. Right, so I've had a bit of success. I've got that, I wouldn't say it's not fitted, but it's fitted. It still needs some trimming and stuff to make it fit nice, but it's actually fitting. It's actually fitting, and it's screwed to the bottom of the original rocker, or the inner, you know what I mean? I'll just get this frickin' chair and I'll sit down. It needs trimmed at the back here. It's got too much material in here yet, so it's allowed to come up. And it's a bit the same at the front because it's holding it in. So it's sort of, now that I've sort of forced it up from the bottom, and put some T screws, I don't know, I've got half a dozen down the bottom, I think, give or take. Yeah, it's sort of twisted that metal in that corner because it's got nowhere to go, if you know what I mean. So it needs a wee bit more trimming in around that corner just to allow that to pop out. And it probably needs the bottom fold where it goes like that and then goes up underneath. It probably needed another 5 or 10 degrees in it. Probably just isn't quite enough bend in it. And that's probably just because of my pattern, just probably wasn't quite the right angle. It's close. The rest of it's sort of given. It's actually just got actually a nice wee gentle flex in that outside panel, which is actually like the original instead of being dead flat. But there it's given quite a bit because it's got nowhere to go in there. Plus it's, instead of sort of just putting a little bit of flex in there and bending that end of it, it's kind of just pushed it up. So we'll have to do a little bit of finessing there, obviously, to get it to sit right. But it actually pushes up in there and just about fits pretty well. Like it's sitting on that, basically sitting on that post now. And I think once you trim the excess away from there, that'll all come up. I've got to trim a little bit more off the bottom of the inner, because that's what's holding it down at the bottom. You can see that little piece at the bottom. See that little piece poking down? That's because there's too much material on the inner. But I'll worry about that after I've got that out of here. And hopefully, I'm just, I think every half an hour or an hour or so, I'm going to hang on this freaking inversion table at home. And hopefully that'll just, if I can get in, maybe even get some, like some heat rub, anti-inflammatory rub, rubbed into my back, and give it a really good knead, and then just keep every hour or so, just hang upside down for a few minutes, even a couple of times, just hang upside down and then sit back up. If you haven't seen one, I'll do a quick show you at home. It's actually not the best inversion table. It's okay because it's portable. But Mum and Dad actually got a really good one they've had for years. There are places it's like really heavy industrial, like it's big, heavy pipe, and it's a solid thing. It doesn't collapse. I'd love one like that because it's actually even got a lock for when you go upside down. You can actually stop yourself part way. Whereas this one's, it's just got like a strap. Like a, I don't know what you call that. It's like the nylon woven strap you see on a lot of sports bags sort of type stuff. Sports gear carry bags, it's that same sort of strapping on it. And that's okay, but this other one's actually got a manual, like it's actually got like a physical brake lock on it. It's really good. They've had it for, I don't know, probably 20 years now, to be honest. It's an awesome thing. But yeah, I'd love one like that, but this other one does the job, if you know what I mean. But it's just more portable. But yeah.
But we're getting there.
It actually looks like I need to push it up a little bit there at the bottom. A bit more, but I think that'll just come with trimming and whatever. It may be the inner rocker too, but then of skin. But it actually looks like it's going to fit reasonably well and mimic the original very, very closely. It's not having to push the panel way out over the floor to make it look right, if you know what I mean. It's actually going to fit without having to push the panel weight out over the floor. Whereas before it was laid out over here with this trimming because it was such a big distance. Like it sort of basically went straight out over top, whereas I can make it look like close to the original. But it just needs a bit more trimming. But anyway, I'm going to bugger off again and go hang upside down a few more times. But yeah, we're kind of ready. I could actually probably get this out of here now without actually pushing that outside. That's basically, it's a few inches away from that post. If this stuff wasn't here, you could probably actually slide that way. It would. Without the rest of the sheet metal on it. Yeah, it would just. Yeah, it would. It's a big car, the old girl. I think they're 5.5 metres long. Well, it might be longer than that. Yeah, it might be 5.5. I think they are 5.5 or a bit longer. Metres, whatever that is in feet. I know it's the almost identical length because I googled it. Thought my 65 Impala was, and my Ford that I had in Australia was only come to about here, which was the average normal day sedan nowadays, which is about the same length as those Holden SS Commodores, the later model ones, are all about the same length, and the Falcons are all about the same length. They only come to about here on these cars, back end, which is the same as a lot of the ones that are in America now, like the SS Impalas and what else they were, Pontiacs and stuff like that, G8s and all that sort of bullshit. Like, they're all the same car, so you can understand how long that is. They're a big car, a big huge car. Anyway, yeah, that'll be gone tomorrow. I was hoping to give it a wash, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I might better get it out and maybe give it a quick flip once it's on the trailer or something. Anyway, I'm going to bugger off. I was hoping to get a whole heap more work done, but my back is just not letting me. It's just not letting me, unfortunately. Anyway, I'll catch you later on. Oh, she's all strapped down, ready for its first little journey. It's not actually going that far away in the meantime. Very good. Hey guys, if you need welding gas, go see the boys at Cool Gas. If you're in New Zealand, yep, go see these guys. They'll look after you. Cool Gas, New Zealand.